Hi, Amy.
Abby.
We just watched Before the 90 Days, Season 8, Episode 6. Did you enjoy this one?
I did. There were so many couples. There was so much going on. There was a lot and nothing at the same time. There
I
was a
think we
lot
had
of
every single one of the
one,
couples.
two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And we never get that. We only get like 3 or 4 of them.
Right.
I mean, the
Unusual.
segments were small, although some of them too long at the same time.
I thought it was a rather messy episode. There
word.
were many things that I did not want to hear and or see, much like if I had just witnessed a car accident.
Yes.
Yuck. Yuck.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of yuck and yike.
There were many times when I closed my eyes and just went, "Bleh." And we will discuss. But before we do, 1 and 2, 1, rate, review, and follow us wherever you listen to the podcast. 2, watch us on YouTube at 90 Day Fiancé, honestly. And now we may begin with Lisa and Daniel. Oh my. Oh. I don't even know what to say.
Well, we ended the last episode with him proposing. And then we
Yeah.
start this one with her going on about how, she promised her daughter that she wouldn't get engaged on this trip, but she didn't know how to say no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, as we said last week, the promise to Faith was not to get married while she was in Nigeria. So perhaps she's not going to do that. There was nothing that we heard with respect to getting engaged specifically. However, you would think it would be something that was also on the forbidden list. And of course, there was no question she was going to say anything else. Lisa says yes.
Yeah,
As if we didn't think that she was already completely insane, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and completely mad.
naive.
Oh, that too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like she's failing her daughter so hard and on international television.
Yeah.
That's so anyway, she seems so incredibly impulsive without having any forethought for
None.
the impact of her decisions, not only on her daughter, but even on her.
Mhm. She mentions that she's only known this man online for 6 months, and they've been in person with each other for maybe a few minutes, 10, perhaps 15, and she accepts his proposal?
After she has sent him thousands of dollars of not her own dollars.
And she still has not told him that she is still married, that she was married to women, that she has only been with women for the last 21 years. He doesn't know how many times she's been married, etc., etc. And then we get to the car scene. Yes, that about sums it up.
Oh,
Oh.
it was too much. Really feeling that the editing is, I don't know. I don't appreciate this editing. We didn't need to see this. I feel like you mentioned it last week when they first met at the airport, and I hadn't noticed it. And then this time, you can't not notice it. It was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Who leads with a tongue to kiss?
Lizards? Armadillos? Anteaters?
I was just going to say anteaters.
Mm-hmm.
Hummingbirds?
Yes, hummingbirds,
Okay.
indeed. And Daniel,
Disgusting.
this was beyond abhorrent. I could not. He was eating her face. She was slurping up his saliva.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It's even worse when you put it like that. The memory is enough, let alone the descriptions.
And then, irony of irony, when she said in the car, "You're not supposed to keep secrets from me," because the proposal had been a secret up until then.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
And you're not carrying any secrets of your own, dear madam, pray?
Someone explain this, but also don't. And then, when they get to the hotel.
Wait.
Whoa, okay. Sorry.
In the car, they had zero respect for the driver. What about him? How embarrassing. How awkward on several hundred levels would that have been for the driver of the car to have these slurping, gulping, eating sounds in the back? Blech.
Oh, the misophonia.
Yeah. Okay, continue. When they get to the hotel.
they get to the hotel and she starts lavishing him with gifts.
Mm,
With
no.
what money, pray tell? Was it June?
Exactly.
The June's money?
Exactly. She could not afford any of that jewelry. And a wedding band? Excuse me? You bought him a wedding band and you promised your daughter you would not get married on this trip?
Yeah.
Hypocritical?
Yeah.
Methinks so.
He was absolutely eating it all up
Until
until he just did an about face. It was like he completely turned it off.
that was delicious. That moment was so delicious. Yeah, I really like that.
I'm gonna have a shower. Can I come? Do you
Could
want
you
to
want to
shower
shower together?
together? No.
Uh,
Then he locks the
uh,
door behind him so she can't follow him in.
pause and the it's like, that's a no. That's a hard no.
And he's not the one who's been traveling all day.
I know. I didn't get it. I'm not sure exactly what the reason was. Did you have any thought as to why he would have said no?
Maybe because all the making out and the proposal and everything was all just a massive performance, and now that they're alone, he can let the mask slip a bit, and he's gonna do the love bombing and then the withholding,
Yeah.
so she keeps craving it.
Ah,
Again, like the infinity symbol that we've talked about
yeah, yeah.
before.
Maybe that's it. I really don't know why he turned so quickly, but whatever, he did. And she's persistent. I mean, not only does she have her anxiety attack when he's in the shower, questioning whether or not he's really attracted to you, which was like, what? Where did that come from? He just asked you to marry him. Calm down. I said it. I said, calm down.
You did.
I think it's appropriate in this situation. In my defense, she then puts the pressure on by coming out in her red lingerie, which we've already seen with Stig and Velveeta, Aviva. Yeah. So she puts on the red lingerie and he says, let's just go to sleep.
Did you take note of her maniacal laughter before she came out of the bathroom?
No?
That terrified me. I was probably screwing around on my phone or something, and I heard that, and I had to look up, and all of a sudden she's prancing out in this lingerie. So I had to go back to see when the actual laughter occurred, and I think it was just before she opened the door, but it was like from a Stephen King movie, like that kind of shrill laughter that you hear and you
Only
know
from
you
the
need to take
damned or the
cover.
possessed?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank
I'm
you. That
with
was a
you.
very long-winded way to say that, but, that was a aside from the kissing, that that laughter
Mm.
was my least favorite part.
All right. Let's read
Yeah.
on.
Oh, God, there's so much to talk about.
Yes. So up next are Laura and Birkan. We have a comment from a listener that I'd just like to mention before we
Oh,
dive in. This
yeah.
is from YouTube. Abe Vasquez 5533 says, I totally agree about Laura and Birkan. She had this consultation all planned out before flying to Turkey, and Birkan is just a companion she met to be on the show. Michael will fly in to help her during her surgery/recovery. I would love that to be true.
I think I predicted that as well. I love the fact that, this thought process is along the same as mine.
Mm.
Um, it doesn't make like, there's no chemistry between the 2 of them. And, how convenient is it for you to fly to Turkey, which is very well known for its plastic surgery, specifically with hair transplants. There we go. Yep. Obviously, she's not getting that done, but there are a ton of people, especially on the show that we've seen, that fly to Turkey to get surgeries done. So how convenient is it? And she finds a man to meet her in Turkey
Mhm. Yes,
for
it
the
is. It is
consultation.
slightly suspicious that she has chosen a man from Turkey.
Mm.
We will refrain from making any judgments until later on, I think, but a lot of us, I think, are on this same thought process that
Team
this
Michael.
yes. Okay. So, Laura and Birkon, they wake up in the same bed. Hmm? How did that happen? And Laura starts to brag about their stamina, his endowments. Another yuck segment for me.
Yep. Did you catch that? His little comment?
Which one?
Wasted.
Oh, yes, I'm wasted. But I mean, language barrier. obviously he's not drunk. He's trying to say, "I'm tired out, my body is depleted," right?
Maybe, but maybe he's still drunk or high from the night before.
Okay.
I can't again, zero chemistry between the 2 of these people. I can't like, given his attitude towards her, his behavior, his even his physical behavior towards her has n it all points to no. So how did this happen?
That's a very good question. Unfortunately, no answers. So
And
they go on a
oh,
date, and it is time for Laura to start asking some probing questions.
this went from bad to worse. Forgot about that.
Birkan admits that he is broke, he is in debt, and jobless.
And homeless.
Oh, yes. But I think the more pertinent detail here was the amount of money which he owes to whom we don't know, but he owes $50,000 US.
I'm glad she confirmed that.
And I wondered how the hell did he get so far into debt? We did hear him say a few episodes ago that he had tried to start some businesses which failed. So perhaps it's got to do with that. But do we trust that he's being honest about the amount that he's in debt? I mean, after all, he's already lied to her. He's kept this as a secret. Who's to say he's not underestimating the amount of money?
It's a good question. So many questions. We don't really have any answers, though I have my own theories. Would you like to hear them?
Yes, give me your theories, Madame Tussaud. No, Sherlock?
I don't
Just go.
either
Just
way.
say.
So,
Say.
one, yes, the debt could be related to his investments or business opportunities, though I also think that it could also be related to gambling.
Ooh.
Maybe the business opportunities were a gamble and he lost that money. Like super high risk. And the other one was drugs.
Yeah, that one occurred to me as well for what happens a little bit later on. But yeah, it's very suspicious. We have no details. It's clear that he is definitely looking for a sugar mama. And it's also clear that he's looking for somebody who could take him out of Turkey so that he can run away from these debts. Uh, excuse me, have you not watched any movies about people who try to flee from people they owe money to and then what happens afterwards? No?
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he's just been reading too much about philosophy. I don't I don't know. He doesn't give the impression that he actually takes it seriously. He just wants to run away.
Well, that is totally backed up by the fact that he just kind of scoffs at it. He's like, "Oh, it's not that big a deal.
Well,
50,000
$50,000 worth of debt.
is not a big deal." Well, sure, it's not a big deal to somebody who can pay it off like that. But to you, homeless, jobless, no prospects, nothing, this is a big deal.
This is a huge deal. And it's such a big deal that he's been fleeing the country. That anyway, really supports the position that he just wants a green card. Oh, I
Mhm,
also loved it when he said that he handles his own problems. He doesn't have a
mhm.
job. He doesn't have anywhere to go. He doesn't have money to pay for his immediate life, let alone his debts. But oh my God, B, did you know that he could make a prosperous living by working in the US? He could work
Yes.
2, maybe 3 jobs.
Isn't that incredible? And then he
Mhm.
could support Laura as well as pay off his debts if he wanted to, because, there's no big deal. You could just leave them behind in Turkey. Wow, this guy is such a red flag.
Yeah.
He's a red siren. It's so incredibly apparent that this guy is going to use Laura for all the wrong reasons, and she needs to run away immediately.
Yes. Yes, she does. And then he says
It
that
gets worse.
he's worried about telling her what he actually does to make money.
Yeah. He says how he earns money when he's not working, which is very interesting. When you're not working, how you earn money. So, this, of course, must be something nefarious, illegal. I'm thinking prostitution. I'm thinking drug smuggling,
Drug mule.
drug mule for sure. Yes. What else? Helping to sell sex slaves, sex trafficking, any number of the above or all.
Yeah. I also going back to his gambling thing, maybe he works
Hmm.
for his bookie and he's like a low-level henchman.
I can't picture him going around breaking people's legs or cutting off their fingers, but I can picture him going around with a razor and threatening them with a bad haircut.
And he brings the evidence to prove it.
He does. He probably has one of
Oh,
those really stupid gangster names like Birkan the
I don't
Ragged,
know.
something like that. Shall we read on? Jovon and Analyn. Okay, so we have another couple. This is the third one telling us how much passion they had the night before.
Everyone's getting
Great.
laid.
Good for you. Fabulous.
Yeah.
What's more interesting was the lunch date that they went on afterwards. I love this scene with the spicy food.
Oh, that looks so delicious. I really wanted to have a bite out of all of it to see what my spice tolerance was or is. His doesn't seem to be too good, and she enjoyed laughing at him.
I love that he was trying to power through it, be the man, because we know he has these tater tot tendencies. And uh, whether or not the food was especially spicy, I don't know. I'm assuming that it was incredibly spicy because she was talking about how this particular kind of food is well known for its levels of heat. So I just thought it was very funny to watch him swallow it and try to keep composure.
Well, he's got like the train steam coming out of his ears, cartoon
Yeah.
style.
And then she starts wondering if she's already pregnant. Excuse me,
It's been
please.
12 hours.
Come on. If 12 hours,
Yeah.
who knows? Okay, you've been married for 3 years in theory, but you haven't actually been together for any of that time until now. So, why would you go ahead and start creating a life or possibly creating a life without really knowing who your partner is in person, in the flesh?
Especially
No.
having already identified some of the issues in your relationship, which should be massive red flag.
Indeed, indeed. And then he drops the bomb that he would come to the Philippines if she did get pregnant to look after her, which she gets offended at right away because why didn't he come to the Philippines before just to see her until this point? Whoopsie.
Why are you trying to have a baby with a man who is still talking to other women? We'll come back to that in a moment.
Uh,
They got into a big fight at the restaurant,
yes, they did.
and he was going on about how she was overreacting. And I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
she was pretty calm.
He did a lovely little twist of logic there where he said that his reactions depend on her reactions and her reactions should depend on his reactions. So it's a chicken and egg kind of scenario as far as I can see, but he's blaming her outright. Okay, just wanted to make sure I got that clear.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really pointless. Silly argument. Did you have anything else you wanted to draw our attention to from that scene?
No, no, this ties into the whole massage thing.
Great. We go to the massage next. We find out that she has been getting copious numbers of massages. Of course, she has because, as Jovon now tells us, it's $600 or more a month. I think she said 400 or 500.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Anyway, it seems to be going up. And so she can lead quite the luxurious, leisurely lifestyle on all of this money.
Without him.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then they sort of devolve into another argument, don't they?
Yeah. She mentions that, he was still talking to the other woman. And again, he flips the script. Well, maybe you should look at yourself and wonder why I had to talk to another woman. This is your fault.
Love that.
Oh my God. Get off my screen. I couldn't believe that he actually said that. I'm like, I'm watching this with my own eyes.
Yes.
It's
He did go there.
textbook.
Insanity. I know. I know.
Textbook.
But what do you expect from a guy who follows what's his name? The
Tater tot.
alpha
Yeah.
male of alpha males.
Yeah.
What do you expect? Of course he's going to blame his behavior on somebody else, particularly if it's a woman. Yay.
Love that. Also, did you notice that she may or may not have a baby bump in the interview?
No, I did not.
It could have been the cut of her dress.
Mm,
I'm not sure,
okay.
but I wonder and I hope not.
I will keep my eye out in the next episode to see what I can see.
Okay.
Let's move on to Emma and Ziad.
Well, this was short.
Yeah. Time to meet his friends. Is this the consolation prize because she's not allowed to meet his family, perhaps? And one of the friends quickly becomes offended by how much cleavage Emma is revealing, which I found to be quite copious as well. Knowing where you are, maybe you would take a little bit. No, you would not consider the culture. Of course not, because you're Emma and she can wear whatever she wants.
Including that wig.
Right. So this discussion of wearing whatever she wants prompts Emma to tell Ziad's friends that he's been lying to her, and she becomes quite bossy and rude. And once again, I think we see a really good example of how she's completely incapable of reading the room. She doesn't have any awareness outside of herself of
Mhm.
how people are acting and what the subtext is in their body language or any of that cultural stuff. Just plows right ahead. I can do what I want, wear what I want, say what I want. You got to listen to it.
Yeah. Really just wanted her to just
Yes.
why are you behaving this way in front of his friends when it's your first time meeting them? Is this really the impression that you wish to leave them with? That you guys are in such conflict that you
Yeah.
can't get through an evening meeting his friends for the first time without having a massive blow up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's great. I should
I
dive
love the
in.
way that he starts then speaking to his friends in, I'm not even sure, is it Moroccan? Is it the language or is it some kind of Arabic language? I really got to educate myself on this. I don't even know, and I'm
I
sorry.
also need to.
I am ignorant. Whatever language it is that he speaks with his friends, he starts speaking that so that he can speak more quickly. And I'm pretty sure also to exclude Emma from the discussion, describing to them how, in fact, Emma had a relationship with him that overlapped with her ex and how disgusting this is to him. Then she
Yeah.
accuses him of doing the same thing to her. It's just like tit for tat. You guys go back to your sandbox, put on your diapers, be the toddlers that you are, and leave us alone. We don't need this.
Yeah, this was just one of the most awkward meetings that we've seen. I think only second to the really stupid one. I think her name started with a V.
Vea?
But yes. Didn't Vea meet whatever his
Oh,
name's dad? And
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and that they left the cake in the restaurant. Yes, that's right.
Okay,
Mhm.
so this is only second to the encounter between Vea and the guy she was seeing's dad when they left that beautiful cake on the table. I
Right.
don't even know what
Yes.
flavor that was.
That was such a waste of a cake. I remember that. Yes. Okay. Well, we see Emma express that she wants to become engaged to Ziad while on this trip, despite all of the fireworks that are going off at the table at this very moment. And then
The red flag
Ziad,
fireworks.
I'm sorry?
The red flag firework.
Yes. And Ziad counterattacks, as always, by saying there's 0% chance that they will get married in this moment, whatever that caveat means in this moment. Let's move on to Rick and Tricia. This was what
I
the
feel like
frog.
production is trying to have some sort of shock value with regards to some of these segments because
On this
obviously
show? Never.
I I know. How dare I? This was just so over the top. This is now what? One, two, three, four, the
Yes.
fifth couple that we've seen who begins their segments or leads into their segments with the sex related discussion.
Yep. I did not need to know or see any of that. Thank you very much. Plastic tarp. Is he going to bury her in it? Like, come on. This is too much. Too much. Why are we talking about this on camera? Why do they choose to discuss this on camera? Why not just say, I'd prefer to keep that private, actually?
I don't have the answers to any of that. I just don't like to see it. I don't like to hear about it. What you do in your own private time is in your own private time. and you're allowed to have private time outside of the cameras while filming. I think that this man is very limited in his, I don't want to say like MacGyverness, but like problem solving, because two towels are more absorbent than a plastic sheet. What are you going to do with that?
Okay, I'm changing topics because I do not
Okay.
want to talk about this.
Okay, cool.
When Rick said at the top of his segment that he's not telling Tricia the details of his trip to Colombia, he's deliberately holding that back because they're getting closer right now. I shuddered. If you're getting closer, this is the time to tell her something deeply dark and horrible that you've done before she gets so invested in you that it becomes a devastation to her. If you were considering her feelings at all, you would have told her before you actually went to Madagascar. But now that you're there, tell her immediately, you spineless piece of worthless goo. Tell her.
And he can't say that he hasn't had the opportunity to talk about it, because we
Yeah.
saw that moment a couple episodes ago where, she was being vulnerable and telling him exactly what had happened with her motorcycle and her brother, and how she was embarrassed and didn't want him to think that she was, complaining about this stuff. So she would be asking him for money, or for him to think that she would be asking him for money. Valid. Why couldn't he just come out at that point? Well, no, he can't, because he's getting what he wants from her, which is absolutely disgusting. Like, this is a massive, massive deal breaker.
Yeah.
And we still don't have an accurate timeline.
No, we don't know when exactly he chose to go, how that worked in relation to her radio silence. Yes, we don't know. But regardless, it's obvious that he's scared shitless to tell her, because any reasonable person would take this information and say, screw you, I'm out of here. That you would have this kind of reaction to my radio silence is absurd. Such an overreaction. But the fact that when he finds out that she spoke to her ex, or he was dropping off the bike, or she saw him after the bike was dropped off, however that all worked, it sounded completely innocent from her perspective, where she was talking about how she has a good relationship with his family. And so she wanted to say hello. They were there too. Completely innocent. But Rick is so determined to see something evil, to root out something so incredibly nasty and horrible that he can then say, well, ha, I did this horrible thing too, and now you can't punish me for it or hold me accountable.
It's like that competition game.
Oh, yeah. But it's so disgusting that he won't let it go.
Yeah, and it's almost like he doesn't want to tell her, because he's biding his time to try to catch her in something,
Yes.
so that he can be like, well, what you did is so much worse than what I did. So now you can't be mad at me.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
serious.
she looked completely terrified of him when they
Yeah.
were in the restaurant. The expression on her face, like she was so scared of him. And that alone is enough to make
Leave.
any person say, not a healthy relationship, take a step back. Something is wrong here. This is off.
Yeah. I think the second that he said, I want to see your phone,
Yeah.
show me, I
Yeah.
was like, well, it's never going to end here.
Nope.
He's going to ask to see it again. He's going to blame you for something else. He's going to blame you for, deleting messages or whatever.
Yes.
And he said, after she did show him her phone with great reluctance, he said that makes her story a lot more credible, because she didn't reply to any of his messages. It makes it more credible. It actually discredits you, sir.
Yes. And there was no apology. I am so sorry that I assumed the worst and thought that you were cheating on me when in fact you were not. I'm sorry.
No, this was, I didn't catch you this time.
Or you are providing me with sufficient evidence at this moment to assuage me. But later on, I may revisit this and find other evidence to substantiate my suspicions. Like, this guy is not going to let go.
Guilty until proven innocent. Just so incredibly condescending and
Mhm.
aggressive. I felt so bad for her. This was so uncomfortable to watch. I wanted to leave the table, and I was
Mm,
only watching on my
yeah.
TV. So that was so sad. And then in my notes, I said, "Projecting the cheating much?" And then the producer, which we
Yeah.
very rarely see the producers getting involved, but the producer asked exactly what I had just asked. "Do you think that you're projecting about the cheating?" He's like, "I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe, but, you know,
Totally is. He completely is.
what's he supposed to do? He's a man. He's a man."
The thing is, this is gonna make things so much worse when he finally does screw up the courage to talk to her and tell her what he did, if he in fact has the balls to do that, which is questionable at this moment. It's just gonna make everything so much more horrible for her to endure when she finds out that not only has he been accusing her of cheating, but in fact that he is the one who does the cheating. And then she clues into that because of her past, because of having gone out with this other guy and him having cheated on her. And that's the reason why they broke up. Now her suspicions are raised about Rick. And when she does discover the truth, and I hope she does very soon,
She will.
I know it's gonna be devastating for her, and I feel awful about that, but at least she will know who he really is, and she needs to know.
I feel like this is one of those situations where you just need to rip off the Band-Aid and take accountability for your actions if there's any hope for this relationship in the future. We've seen this so many times in other couples where they don't talk about either important issues or secrets that they've had or any other situations or I don't mindsets that might impact your future relationships until after you're already super involved and or married. It's like, well,
Yeah.
I wish I would have known this sooner. Okay, but did you give each other the space to be able to have that conversation?
Yeah, giving
Did you
each other the
both
space
enter
is one
this
thing, but
relationship
also
with integrity and goodwill?
yeah,
What am
yeah,
I asking for? She's obviously way
I don't know. It's pretty gross. Shall we read on?
I'll talk about gross. Yeah.
Aviva and Stig. Okay, here we go again. Once more, we open with the couple talking about all the lovely things they did in bed the night before. And to
Yep.
top it off, there is no using of protection, which is such an amazing choice, such a great decision, I think, for this woman to make and him, but more for her, knowing that he's this famous rapper who had who has been with lots of other women and
Yep.
who could still be with other women. And yet, nah, it's fine. What?
I can't fathom this mindset. He didn't want to wear a condom and he knows I'm not on birth control.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know that AIDS is still a thing? HIV, AIDS, syphilis, chlamydia. I mean, some of these can be cured with medication, but like, yeah, put
Uh-huh.
yourself in a position of possibly spreading them to others. But, I love him. We're going to be together forever. Oh my God. How incredibly stupid are you? You know nothing about this man. You know nothing about what kind of genetic issues does he have? What do you have to look for? Like, if you do get pregnant, the worries that you have for your pregnancies, blah, 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 blah. So many things to think about. And also, okay, you know my position on this, but I think you need to be together for a couple years before you have a baby so that you can enjoy your relationship together. It's different when you're actually living together. You need to have that proximity to really feel whether or not you can live together, let alone procreate
Yeah.
and raise a living human being.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. Logical, rational, smart.
Too much.
However, we have the opposite of that in Aviva and Stig. So then they go to the recording studio. I'm not sure why. Did he just impulsively decide that he had to record this song that is going to be about her, which has that disgusting expression that we've already talked about?
So nasty.
I want to breed her. Great. Yeah, she's a racehorse. Mhm. That's that's what you do. You breed them. What? Okay.
That's exactly what it makes me think of. Thank you for identifying that. Anytime
Mm,
I hear about breeding, it's all about either horses or cows.
mm, yes. Well, okay.
It's
Uh,
it's so like dehumanizing.
Yes. Yes. Turning somebody into an animal whose only purpose is to have more little animals that you are making by design on purpose with no real thought for the creature that is making that life.
Okay, sure, trying to make a baby's fun, but you know what's more fun is enjoying your partner to get to know them to an extent where you actually know who they are as a human being. And then deciding from that point, wow, I love this person so much. I think that we would raise a beautiful human being together. Wouldn't that be lovely?
Mm.
Nope. Nope.
Nope. No, no, no,
Nope.
no, no.
No.
That is far
We're
too boring.
just raw dogging life over here, apparently. Sorry, I also hate that expression, but it just seems fit. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, it
Anyway,
did.
while they're at the recording studio, Aviva gets some lovely details of Stig's life, of his romantic past from the manager guy. She finds out that Stig had been planning to have a baby with his ex. This irks her very, very much. That perhaps he is really not over his ex. And I believe we have a very short timeline for these two being romantically involved. As I recall, they've known each other for a long time, but they've only very recently become romantically involved. So
Mm.
she is definitely not happy with what she's learned at the recording studio. And they take a ferry to go over to one of the islands. She's being somewhat cold and distant because she's very much in her head about the things she's found out. And he finally gets her to start talking about stuff. She confronts him about the baby issue, and he smirks and says it's true. He was looking to get married with his ex. He was looking to have a baby with her. Just the attitude about it, the smirking and it's not a, well, yes, we had a really close relationship and we had been talking for a long time about eventually getting married and having children afterwards. It was really icky feeling of possessiveness. Did you feel that too?
It is because it's not like I want to create like the rest of our lives together. It's almost like contingent upon the baby. You're not putting in the effort, as I said, to establish the relationship before you know whether or not you two are compatible as partners, let alone as parents and or co-parents. Like he's just jumping the gun and I feel like he just wants to become the next. Oh God, this is awful. Who's that guy who was married to Mariah Carey who has like 12 kids now? He
No
was
clue.
one of the hosts of America's Got Talent.
I have no idea.
Nick Cannon. He has
He
like 12 kids. I feel like this guy just wants to, I don't even know what word is appropriate, procreate with as many women as he possibly can. He's going to play with them, he's going to do his thing, and
Mhm.
then he's going to have, you know, so many opportunities for prodigies, you know, the the lineage, you know, they used to say that.
Yeah. No, it doesn't seem as if it's wanting to have kids out of love and respect for the other person and the life you built together. It's
God, you're
definitely a
so much more eloquent.
possessive thing. Like, I want to possess you, and you will be a vessel for my seed and my
Ugh.
progeny. But I know exactly, gross. Like, that's how I feel. And I felt like when he was talking to her about his ex and about the potential baby that they were going to have, it just sounded to me like damage control. Like he's trying to force Aviva into this position where she feels like she was the one who's kind of slightly crazy for having thought maybe something's going on when he's ghosting her for a few days and he's in Texas, which is where his ex lives. And she felt that something was off, but she's not sure. And so now she's asking him for clarification, for confirmation. And he's just saying, you crazy. If I- I'm not doing that. I'm honest. I'm a person with integrity. If I say I want a baby, it's because I love you and I want to, like, it's just, there's nothing true about his words at all.
He also said, "I was only in Texas for what, 2 or 3 days,
Mhm.
and I didn't even see my family." Does he have family in Texas?
I don't know. Maybe.
It was just the stuff that was coming out of his mouth gave, um, so much more room for pause. Why did he go to Texas? Why did he not text her the entire time that he was there? You can't tell me that you had, you know, you had sound check, you had your performance, you had, you know, meet and greets afterwards. Okay. Is that going to take literally all day? No. There's only like a small portion of the day that's required for such things. I mean, I say this as if I'm a touring performer. What do I really know? But based on what I've seen from other artists, you have your time before, you have the time with the guests, you have the performance, you have the time after with the guests, and then you have downtime.
There's always 5 seconds to send somebody a text that says, "Hi, I'm really busy. Things are going great. I'm gonna text you later or in a day or 2."
Or
Mm,
sound check, snap.
yeah.
The,
Doesn't ring
the
true.
snap
None of it.
is the
Yes.
camera picture thing up
Yes,
because I
you're
sing.
doing a selfie. I gotcha.
I am old. Okay. So one last thing, unless you have anything else. But oh my God, Viva girl, please do something. Those eyelashes, they make my eyelids feel heavy. Like I need to focus on opening my eyes more because hers are just like, it feels like they're just so Okay, that's my last thought.
Okay. My last thought for Aviva is this: go buy condoms now,
And the
please.
morning after pill.
Forrest and Sheena. This was a very brief segment. The two of them are on their way to go see Sheena's parents alone, blissfully alone. And Molly, of course, is a sourpuss about the whole situation, but she is going to come the next day, so she will have ample opportunity to do her thing and turn the whole event into a complete shit show.
I don't know. I wonder if Forrest is going to do that on his own. Although, despite what we know about him, I feel like he has been making a great effort to create boundaries with his mom, to respect his relationship with and
Mm-hmm.
for Sheena and with his relationship. But I really think that he needs to like pull his head so far, like it's so far up his own bum that
Hmm.
he really doesn't seem to understand. And that if he goes into this meeting with her parents with the intention of, impressing them to get their
Blessing?
blessing,
Mm-hmm.
that he's going to be able to force Sheena to cut them off without them revoking their consent. Do, do you not see a problem with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, no. You think once you get your that permission, that's going to be a thing? No. Anyway, thanks, Forrest.
I only had one thought or two about this part, which is that we know for sure Forrest is unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
That is stated very clearly, finally. So we have confirmation. And he
Yes.
also tells us that it's fairly likely that he's never going to have a job because of his difficulties. Okay, he lives off of a disability check. Fine, no issue. Therefore, Sheena is going to have to be the breadwinner. However, this is where my problem arises. He says that when he's going to meet the parents, that he's going to have to promise them that he's going to look after Sheena, that the money's going to be his responsibility. Obviously, it costs a lot of money to get somebody over to the US from the Philippines with all the visas and everything, and he has to be able to guarantee her status in the US with all kinds of financial paperwork. Somebody's going to have to sign for
Guaranteed.
that. It's going to be Molly and Dev. Yes, absolutely.
I don't know if they'll be able to financially support that. We don't know what their
Also,
finances are
also
like.
that. But he is in effect going to go lie to the parents saying, I will marry your daughter, or I want to marry your daughter. I can support her. I will support her. He cannot. There is no, in actuality, he's getting her to come to the US so she can potentially become a vet over there as well. And then she's going to earn bags of money and support him. So she is the cash cow. He is not going to be supporting her in any way imaginable.
Well, she also mentioned in her interview that she's going to have to be honest with her parents about Forrest's financial situation.
Mhm.
And I can't see that going over very well at all.
No. But I think they're just going to make lots of promises about the future, which can't possibly be fulfilled. And that's where the parents are going to say, okay, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But in fact, there's nothing behind it. There is no money. There's no potential job for Forrest.
And I have a question. What is his disability?
That's the autism, ADHD, that stuff.
Okay, so I've taken issue with that. I wanted to confirm before I said anything because I have friends who are lower functioning than he is,
Mhm.
and they're able to hold jobs. They're able to follow directions. They're able to learn. Obviously, there's some room for mistakes with the jobs that they have, but they're able to grow into it and still learn. And I feel like Molly has just been placating him for so long. Oh, he missed a deadline at work or something. Oh, it's all because of your autism. It's not your fault. I don't think that he's had the appropriate amount of support to be able to broaden or become confident in the skills that he has. He just blames the diagnosis.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're really in a place to be able to say one way or the other if he's capable or not of holding down a job. If
But
he
he navigated getting all the way to the Philippines with his 2 seemingly also neurodivergent
Sure.
mom and
S
stepfather. Like,
But that's what I mean, like,
that's a lot.
we can see some of what he's capable of doing, but not other stuff. I don't wanna speculate as to what he's actually capable of. All I know is that he is going to go lie to Sheena's parents in this moment, and that is pretty gross considering what everybody has been accusing Sheena of doing up until this point. In fact, he is the one, Molly is the one who are manipulating, lying, and just being completely dishonest. So that's my point. That's it. All right. Let's wrap it up. Before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please subscribe to or give our show a follow. If you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.